Hi everyone, Pat Dougherty here with your tennis IQ topic. Working on other ways to achieve victory, to be able to win the match. And it's really what makes tennis very interesting when you approach it in different ways. A lot of the stuff we talked about earlier in the week with the Venn diagram with should, want, and can. Sometimes we get so attached to the way we want to play this game that it even is at the expense of losing the match because we could have possibly adjusted and played it a little differently and maybe pulled out victory. And at some point down the road, if not sooner than later, you got to realize the only reason we play the match is to see if we can prove we're the better player and come out with a victory. And so you've got to be resourceful in that respect and be able to come up with different ways to get that job done. Perfect example, one of the most storied history rivalry was Everett and Navratilova, and Navratilova came out with the better end of that. And one of the reasons why is, she's playing a strong counter-punching backcourter in Chris Evert. She could serve and volley and attack on every opportunity, get the net and match up her volleys to Chris's backcourt game. But if that wasn't always working out, she was willing to shift and hang back a little bit, and she had the option to bring Chris Evert in and exploit her lack of strengths around the net. And so she had that plan B, and I think that's what really these challenging times right now are all about, is coming up with the plan B. Sometimes you even need a C. But recognizing that when you're playing, you're not always going to be able to play the way you love to play and achieve the results you want. And when we take a snapshot of these stats right here, what screams at me is look at the forced errors combined with unforced errors. That's where 75 to 80%, over 80% of the points on the women's side, that's how they're ending, guys. So this is an error management exercise. If you can force the opponent to have to try for the winners more often, you can force them into that huge payoff over 50%, both men and women, category called forced errors. That's what's determining the winners and the losers at this high level. Unforced errors happen along the way when you're too hyper-focused on trying to generate winners to end all your points. And you end up giving away more than you take in the end of the day, so your game plan's losing to yourself. You're not getting beat. So another example, let's look at point development. This is what shapes how you navigate this thing, is what shapes your style of play, basically. But I'll give you a scenario to think about. Fed and Djokovic. When Djokovic came up and started taking over, beating everybody, getting to the top of the game, Fed was frustrated. He couldn't match ground stroke for ground stroke with Djokovic and in the backcourt. He was just too good of a defender. He got to everything, and he had more power than Fed. So he's like, that's not working for me. I can't match his power. I just get more erratic and make a bunch of mistakes. So he came up with the saber tactic. So let's look at how that navigates this model. On the return of serve, serve, he might serve and volley more. Why? Because he wants to get rid of the ground stroke rally, and he has that option when he's serving. Return side, when he had any second serve return opportunities, he was moving in close and using the saber tactic, where he was half volleying and getting right into net in a chip charge kind of fashion and forcing Djokovic into a passing mode right away. So he was trying to deny the setup portion to the opponent, who many of those guys, Murray, Nishikori, they love to settle into a nice rhythm in the rally. And so sometimes if you're losing more often than you're winning in that scenario, you got to choose to work around it. And so players who are able to do serve +1 and skip over the ground stroke rally portion can really rob you of your opportunity to feature your strengths if that's the only place you have any. So it's important to round everything out. But be willing to go to a alternative plan. Be resourceful. Don't feel like you got to go down with the ship because you feel you have to play a certain way. Now, this is a game where you got to adjust to what's in front of you. And at the end of the day, you're going to be measured by who wins, not how you played, how nice a guy or girl you are. The only thing that goes into memory is who won. So be willing to make those adjustments, guys. Good luck.